Crazy.
And I got to tell you, it's hot outside, so I'm really thankful to be in this air conditioning right now. So I just want to take some time to just talk about things a little bit. Now, there is some myths about rabbits that go around. And some of them are based on some actual fact. And there is some actual truth to some of these myths. But at the same time, it's not like a maxim or universal truth like people like to make it out to be. You have to know all the information. You have to know all of the things that are involved for that truth. So one of the things I wanted to touch on real quick is that people say, well, you're going to starve to death on rabbit. You're just gonna starve to death on rabbit, you know.
Not enough.
Now, people say that, but I don't think they actually know where that information is coming from. They hear from someone else, and hear from someone else, and hear from someone else, and then they think it's true.
It's not true.
You know, and something that if you say something often enough, keep saying it, and long enough, then people will believe it. It's called the big lie. I think we can learn a lot from that. And what we can learn from that is just because it's been repeated often and for a long period of time does not make it true. It doesn't matter how many people believe it to be true. The number of people believing something to be true does not make it true. The amount of times it's been repeated does not make it true. The length of time that it's been repeated and believed does not make it true. The question is it really true? That's a big question. So I just want to leave that with you to think about that. It's something I believe is very valuable in determining what truth is and what truth is not. So getting back to the myth that if you eat rabbits, you will starve to death eating rabbits. Well, from my understanding, where this comes from is in the early pioneer days of this country, there were people going across this country, trapping animals and hunting and building their homesteads, right? And that's basically how this country was founded. People moving out into the countryside and making their homestead and trying to build a future for their family. And people found that if they were to hunt only wild rabbit, which was easy to catch compared to other animals that could be caught, and because rabbits do multiply, they're fairly abundant in nature. So they're not hard to come by. But if you just lived on rabbit alone, you would starve to death. And that's true. From that context, you're expending all the energy it takes to hunt or trap or kill that animal. Then you get that animal and you have it killed, right? And then now you have to take the skin off, you have to do all the preparation, and then you have to cook it, and you have to build a fire and cook it. That uses up a lot of energy. And rabbits are not high in fat. Okay? It's a very lean meat. There's not a lot of fat on the animal. And a lot of the energy that's in an animal is in its fat. You have protein. Protein's important. But protein by itself is not what your body needs. Your body needs other sources of energy. Your body actually imbibes energy of two ways, two basic ways. Either through glucose, that's one way your body gets energy. Another way your body gets energy is simply burning fat, ketosis. Okay, so through glucose or through ketosis, through uh, metabolizing sugar into energy or metabolizing fat into energy. Those are your two major sources of energy for your body. Now, of course, protein's important, vitamins are important, all these things are important. But I'm just talking about basics, right? So rabbits don't have a lot of fat. There's no sugar, okay? So yeah, rabbits alone, wild rabbits alone, all the stuff they had to do to get the rabbit in their bellies, to eat the rabbit, all that was involved in that, and all involved in just survival, building your log cabin house, whatever else you have to do, getting your water source, taking care of yourself. It all takes a tremendous amount of energy to do all that. So yeah, you'd starve to death on a rabbit back then. Now, let's go to the future. We're not raising wild rabbits, okay? Wild rabbits don't have a lot of meat on them to begin with, okay? We are raising rabbits that are bred to be meat rabbits. They are bred to be livestock, okay? So the rabbits we have out there are like meaty monsters compared to those wild rabbits. If you go out and get your average wild rabbit and you catch it and you kill it and you eat it, yum, that was good. But you're not going to get near the amount of meat on that carcass as you do with one of these New Zealands or a Californian. The Californian Monster versus Wild-Eye Pete. You're just not going to get it. So per rabbit, you're getting a lot more meat than you would off of a wild rabbit. Point two, we're not out hunting for these rabbits. We're not out spending all this energy on building campfires and cooking them in that way and going through all these things just to survive. Our energy need is not as much because of our luxury. Because I'm sitting here in an air-conditioned house. They didn't have that back then. Because I have running water inside my house. They had to go down to the stream and get it. I don't use up a lot of energy compared to people back then. Right? And, I have an abundance of food. Rabbits isn't my only source of food. I got all kinds of other food that I can use. So there's no danger of me starving to death on a rabbit. There's no danger of that at all. And rabbit is just a good source of protein. When I cook my rabbit, that's not the only thing I have available to me. If I want to take my rabbit and wrap it in bacon and put that bacon fat all over it, I can do that. So I have other things I can cook with the rabbit, right? So, I'm not going to just eat rabbit on a stick, okay? I'm going to have rabbit with gravy and potatoes and vegetables and put it in stews and maybe wrap it in bacon and, maybe I want to do some hot buffalo ranch rabbit, like you have your hot buffalo hot wings with chicken. Well, rabbit tastes pretty similar to chicken, so if I want to have some buffalo rabbit, I can do that too. There's no danger at all of starving to death on a rabbit. So it hasn't always been a myth, but it's a myth now. Okay? There's no danger of me starving to death on rabbit. It's not my only source of meat. It is a reliable source of meat that I have. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. You can add fat from other animals to cook your rabbit. It's not. Actually, it's enjoyable. It's good meat. I enjoy rabbit. We've had rabbit a lot. Actually, whenever we fix rabbit stew, most of our friends are like excited. Oh, you made some rabbit stew? Oh yeah, we got some rabbit stew. Are you going to bring it? Oh yeah, we'll bring it. We'll bring some rabbit stew. And they eat it and they love it. Just like we eat it and we love it. And of course, what's in a rabbit stew? Full of vegetables and vitality, right? A lot of times people use chicken broth, but I find the best rabbit stew is made with rabbit broth. Make a rabbit bone broth and use that in your rabbit stew. And in my opinion, it tastes better because you can taste the rabbit meat more. Anyway, a whole bunch of ways you can cook the rabbit meat, But you have to keep in mind it doesn't have any fat, and either you have to introduce some fat or you have to cook it in a way that doesn't dry out the meat, like either braising it or making it into a stew or something like that. That's what you have to do to keep it from drying out. Just be aware of what you're using, what you're cooking, and what your result is going to be. So that's just one of the myths I wanted to dispel. And another thing is all the diseases that rabbits can carry. It's true that rabbits can carry diseases, but you're a farmer. You're looking at your animals, you're maintaining their health, you're watching them to make sure that they're not sick. And if they are sick, you deal with it. You deal with any sickness that comes along. Would I eat a butchered sick rabbit? No, I wouldn't eat a butchered sick rabbit. I wouldn't eat a butchered sick chicken or a butchered sick cow. I wouldn't do that, and I wouldn't advise anyone else to do that. That's just using common sense and just being aware of what you're raising, being a farmer, okay? But am I in danger of getting sick off eating rabbit meat because it could have a disease? No, because whenever I butcher my animals, they are all healthy. I take good care of them to make sure that they're healthy. I'm not any more danger of that as I am of getting sick off of eating pork that I happen to raise, or eating any animal that I happen to raise. You raise it properly, you take good care of it, and you're going to have a good result. So those types of things don't bother me either. It's just about being good at what you're doing, paying attention to what you're doing, and doing things in the right way. So it's not an issue. So rewind. Why are we doing this? It's a homestead, okay? We're doing this to take care of ourselves, to feed ourselves, to be a little bit less reliant upon this world system that we're in. We got our rabbits, and it's going to be a good step forward for our homestead. We are excited. They were out there relaxing and getting used to their environment and letting some of the shock of the transportation wear off. And there's a little shock involved in that. And they have food, they have water, they have some ice packs. We're going to check on them periodically, and we're going to get them used to our presence, used to us being around, used to us handling them. Yes. Things are going to be just fine. So thank you for watching.